Picture this. The man who once couldn't stop texting you now guards his phone like it holds secrets you were never supposed to see. He laughs at messages late at night, tilts the screen away the second you get close, and suddenly the warmth in his voice feels colder than silence itself. You ask simple questions, but his answers feel rushed, distant, empty, and deep down, there's a strange feeling growing inside your chest. Not fear, not jealousy, a quiet instinct telling you something has changed. Here's the terrifying truth most people never talk about. Cheating rarely begins with a kiss. It begins with emotional distance, with missing attention, with energy that no longer feels the same. So how do you know if he's truly cheating on you? Or if your mind is creating stories out of insecurity? Stay with me until the end, because there's one hidden sign almost every unfaithful partner reveals eventually. And once you notice it, you'll never look at relationships the same way again. Look, nobody enters a relationship expecting betrayal. You give your time, your loyalty, your trust, believing the person beside you would never intentionally hurt you. That's why the truth becomes so painful when their behavior suddenly starts changing. And the worst part? Most cheating doesn't reveal itself immediately. It hides in small moments. Cold replies, strange distance, unexplained mood shifts. The kind of things people often ignore because they're afraid of what the truth might be. In this video, we're not talking about crazy accusations or toxic overthinking. We're talking about real psychological signs that experts and relationship counselors notice again and again in unfaithful relationships. Some of these signs are subtle, almost invisible at first, but once you connect the dots, everything starts making sense. So if your intuition has been whispering that something feels off lately, stay with me, because this video might give you the clarity your heart has been searching for. You know what's really unsettling? It's not just the phone, it's the shift. The man who once left his phone on the table without a second thought now treats it like it holds classified secrets. Screen flipped down, notifications silenced, passwords changed. And the moment you step closer, he moves just a little too fast to hide it. Now, listen carefully. Privacy is healthy. Every relationship needs space. But sudden secrecy? That's a different language. Because people don't change overnight without reason. They just start hiding better. Imagine this. You're sitting right next to him. Everything feels normal. Then a message pops up. He smiles, just for a second. A real smile, but when you casually ask, "Who texted you?" his entire energy shifts. Nobody. Just one word. But it doesn't feel like nothing. It feels like distance just appeared between you two. And here's something most people miss. It's not always the phone that gives the truth away. It's the reaction, the hesitation, the sudden defensiveness over simple questions. Because guilt doesn't always scream. Sometimes it gets irritated when questioned. Remember when he used to notice everything? Your mood shift, your silence, even the way you typed a message differently. He could read you like a book without you saying a word. But now, something has changed. You could sit right next to him, emotionally falling apart inside. And he barely reacts. Like your presence has turned into background noise. And that's where it gets confusing. Because it doesn't happen all at once. It fades, slowly, silently. Here's the truth most people don't want to face. Attention is emotional investment. And when that investment starts going somewhere else, You feel the withdrawal without knowing why. He starts listening less, responding slower, caring less about the little things you share. And suddenly, the relationship feels like it's being carried by only one person. Then comes the excuse, I'm just busy. But here's the strange part. He's never too busy for his phone. That contrast says everything, because where attention goes, connection follows. And when one connection starts weakening, another one is often forming in the shadows. A girl once shared something heartbreaking. He stopped asking me how my day was. I thought it was nothing at first. But later, she discovered he was spending his nights emotionally connected to someone else online. And that's the part nobody expects. Distance doesn't always arrive with arguments. Sometimes it arrives with silence. One ignored message at a time. This is where things start to feel emotionally exhausting and confusing at the same time. Because suddenly, the smallest things turn into arguments. Things that never used to matter now become reasons for conflict. You ask a simple question, and it becomes a fight. You express a feeling, and somehow you're the problem. And listen carefully. This pattern is not random. When someone is carrying guilt, they often need a way to release that pressure. Instead of owning what they're doing, they shift the emotional weight onto you. So now you hear things like, you're too sensitive. You always start this. You never trust me. Even when you've done nothing different. That's not normal disagreement anymore. That's emotional deflection. Because if they can make you question your behavior, you stop looking at theirs, and slowly, you begin walking on eggshells in your own relationship, trying not to trigger another argument, trying not to ask too much, trying not to feel too much. Pause for a second. Think about how powerful that is. Sometimes the real red flag isn't loud betrayal. It's subtle confusion. It's being made to feel guilty for simply noticing something is off. And the most dangerous part? People start apologizing, not because they did something wrong, but because they're reacting to a truth they haven't fully discovered yet. Human life runs on patterns. We wake up, we sleep, we repeat habits, almost without thinking. That's why when someone's routine suddenly shifts, it creates a silent alarm in your mind. At first, you try to ignore it. Maybe he's just busy. Maybe work got heavier. Maybe life is changing. And yes, sometimes that's true. But what we're talking about here feels different. Unexplained changes. Late replies that turn into late nights. Quick excuses that never really explain anything. Just tired. Just work. Just out with friends. And you start noticing something strange. The explanations are there, but the clarity is missing. Now imagine this. He used to call you every night without fail. It became your comfort routine, your safe space. But now, night after night, after a certain time, he simply disappears. No call, no message, no real reason that makes sense. Just silence. And when you ask, the answer is always simple. Almost too simple. Coincidence? Maybe. But when behavior repeats without explanation, it stops being random because people can lie in words. But patterns are harder to control. Eventually, truth doesn't need proof. It reveals itself through repetition. This is the part that confuses the heart the most. Because suddenly, he changes. Out of nowhere, he becomes sweeter than before. Random gifts, unexpected compliments, extra attention that feels almost like the old him is back. And for a moment, you relax. You think maybe things are getting better again. Maybe the love is coming back. but deep down, something feels slightly off. Not obvious, just a quiet discomfort you can't explain. Here's what most people don't realize. Sometimes guilt doesn't make a person distant, it makes them overcompensate. They try to fix the feeling inside them by being extra loving outside, but it doesn't always come from peace. It comes from pressure, and that's why it feels inconsistent. Because real love is steady. It doesn't switch suddenly from cold to overly sweet without reason. But here's the important truth. This one sign alone is never enough to conclude anything. The danger is not in one behavior, it's in the combination. When sweetness appears alongside secrecy, emotional distance, and strange behavior changes, that's when your instincts stop feeling like doubt and start feeling like clarity you can't ignore. Let's talk about something most people ignore until it becomes impossible to. Your intuition, not fear, not insecurity, not jealousy, building stories in your head. Real intuition, because there's a massive difference between the two. Jealousy creates noise, assumptions, fake scenarios that don't exist. But intuition, it's quiet. It notices what words cannot explain. The shift in his tone, the delay in his replies, the way eye contact feels different, even when everything looks normal. And the strange part is, your body reacts before your mind understands. That tight feeling in your chest, the sudden overthinking at night, the discomfort you feel, even in silence, that's not random. That's emotional awareness picking up inconsistencies. Because when something is truly off in a connection, you don't always need proof first. You feel it, but listen carefully. Intuition is not meant to destroy your peace. It's meant to guide you toward clarity. Not obsession, not spying, not losing yourself in suspicion, because the truth has its own timing. And no matter how hidden it is, it never stays hidden forever. It always comes to the surface. Now, here's the moment everything comes together. The part most people don't want to face, but cannot ignore forever. Because the biggest sign he may be cheating on you is not one single action. It is a pattern. On their own, each thing can be explained. A busy day, a stressed mind, a temporary distance, even a bad mood. But when you start seeing everything together, secrecy that wasn't there before, emotional distance growing slowly, defensiveness over simple questions, unexplained behavior changes, and that quiet inner voice you keep trying to silence, it stops feeling like coincidence. It starts feeling like truth, because real life doesn't expose itself in one moment. It reveals itself in repetition. And here's the hardest part. Most people don't leave when they see the signs. They stay, hoping it will go back to what it was, even when the emotional connection is already fading in front of them. Pause for a second, because this is important. Love without trust doesn't feel like love anymore. It feels like confusion. It feels like anxiety. It feels like emotional exhaustion you can't explain. And no matter how strong your feelings are, you should never have to lose your peace just to hold on to someone. Look, if you're still here, sitting with that heavy feeling in your chest, I want you to hear this clearly. You deserve honesty. You deserve peace. You deserve a love that feels safe, not confusing. Real love doesn't make you question yourself every day. It doesn't force you to become anxious, overthinking every message, every silence, every change. And you don't need to lose your softness to protect your heart. You only need standards and the courage to respect them. Because the right person won't make you chase clarity. They will give it freely through consistency, respect, and actions that match their words. And if someone is betraying your trust, remember this deeply. It's never a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their choices. And you were never meant to beg for love that was supposed to be real. If this video hit you somewhere deep, drop just one word in the comments, trust or done. And be honest with yourself. Have you ever ignored a red flag just because your heart wasn't ready to let go? If you want more real eye-opening relationship truths like this, like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because sometimes one video is enough to change everything you thought you knew about love.